In previous videos, we've discussed how Pluto brings social change and transformation to humanity through the zodiac houses and how that frequency is reflected in our generations. Pluto is the energy of change, death, transformation, and it carries the frequency of chaos, deception, viruses, and coercion. As Pluto moves into any zodiac sign, it will mark that generation with the themes displayed in its placement. It is in its nature to bring about major changes through the destruction of certain aspects reflected in its position. We witness a peak and fall of the energy as it brings about transformation of entire generations of humankind. The frequency of Pluto manifests as these generations come of age. So we experience the current placement of Pluto as well as that of those who are currently adults. We are experiencing other living generations' expressions of Pluto energy in their birth house at the same time, so you can see how it can get messy out there. Not only do we have the shadow influence of the planet when it's actually in a zodiac house, but we also experience the energies of the generation born under this placement when they come of age. The way this energy manifests depends on the house that Pluto influences. This energy is felt and filtered as a collective as well as individually, as this placement has personal influences as well. An example of this, Pluto is currently in Capricorn in 2022 when this video was created. Capricorn carries the frequency of legacy, determination, maturity, mastery, discipline, public image, authorities, government, and foundations. For Pluto and Leo, this means holding on to their legacy at all costs. For Pluto and Virgo, it means driving hard on their social causes. With Libra, it means striving harder to find balance in relationships. For the Pluto and Scorpio generation, it translates to a filtering of ideologies through exploration of self and that which is unseen or hidden. But for Sagittarius, it is transforming belief systems. Pluto in Sagittarius was from 1995 to 2008. They're currently ages 14 to 27 in 2022 when this video was created. This generation was just starting to come of age as Pluto and Scorpio energies peaked and Pluto moved into Capricorn. This transit started in 2008. During this time, we saw the rise in Scorpio generation energies. The energies that Pluto and Scorpio carries are very destructive. We've all witnessed how destructive they can be. They were angry and confused by all of the conflicting ideologies of past generations that impacted them radically. Their generation had a heavy impact on the Pluto and Sagittarius generation. At first, it seemed as if many of them were on board with Pluto and Scorpio's way of handling things, but they soon learned that they were personally paying the price for things that these generations have pressed on that were not relevant or significant to them at all. Older people in this generation experienced financial losses just as they were getting started in life. The youth were separated from their friends, lost scholarships, and missed out on important events in their lives that previous generations had the pleasure of enjoying. Children were kept at home, not allowed to play with friends, not allowed to participate in their normal extracurricular activities, and some missed out on their curricular activities, which impacted their education. It was a punishment for this generation. And for what reason? Pluto and Sagittarius are not stupid. In fact, they're highly intellectual and quite smart. They're dissecting the reasons for all that has happened right now, and they're coming up empty-handed. Other generations that have fallen under the guise of ideologies are doing their best to offer explanations, but they aren't logical. Sagittarius generation just isn't buying it. It seems that Pluto and Scorpio had a heavy hand in the way things manifested. They had difficulty filtering the truth because of their need to filter all things through self. This was a way of thinking that led to a push of autocratic ideologies that were revealed by the powerful energy of Pluto. Things really came to the surface for all to see. It was the nastiest forms of hate and division that we've seen in a very long time. We stepped back in history and forgot all the progress that we've made. Pluto and Leo has a tendency to hang on to their power till the bitter end and at all costs. Pluto in Virgo tends to get stuck on a concept and lacks the ability to change with the times. It's like they're stuck in first gear and gunning the pedal with the transmission grinding the whole way. They've clung to outdated ideologies in a never-ending struggle that they keep creating, and they do this in order to maintain their power and control. For those of you who are in this generation, Generation Z, can you see how politicians are already speaking to you directly, calling on your generation to help keep them in power? They need the next generations to follow their ideologies in order to keep the status quo going. Where does the nightmare end? I believe the end begins when we enter Pluto in Aquarius in 2024. This is when our Pluto and Sagittarius will begin to evaluate the matter. They may have gone along with Pluto and Scorpio when they were younger, but after the experiences that they've had in recent years, they aren't going to be so keen on any semblance of autocracy. Our Pluto and Sag are adventurers ready to explore all the interesting aspects of life, and autocratic thinking just doesn't align with their plans. They have that Jupiter energy, which is so very expansive. This generation has the potential to expand understanding and awareness of the collective. With interests that are unlimited, they think on a global scale, which is something that previous generations have not really done, at least not done well. This generation realizes that the changes we make cannot be effective if everyone in the world aren't all on the same page. They have the ability to see ways of doing things that will be innovative, creative, and good for the collective. They're already offering simple solutions for things that we've complicated for so long. Pluto and Sagittarius generation was raised mainly by Pluto and Libra, and some were raised by Pluto and Scorpio. This generation was loved and cared for like no other. Most Pluto and Libra parents were attentive and involved heavily in their children's lives. Pluto and Libra parents offered their Saggy babies trusting, balanced relationships and loving homes. They were a little overboard with regard to their safety and may have given them the idea that they were extra special. They gave them safe spaces and comforts everywhere they could. Pluto and Sagittarius were totally on board with all of these things, as long as it didn't intrude on their freedom. Recently, they discovered it did exactly that. This is the crux for those who are preparing to impose their ideologies on this generation. They're free thinkers and unbridled adventurers. They'll enjoy the benefits as long as they can, but they're ultimately going to go their own way. Sagittarius tends to trivialize relationships. They have a way of disconnecting from people and situations they don't connect with. With that, they don't go along with the status quo or follow norms. They're very empowered by the concept of self-liberty. They have a mind of their own and dance to the beat of their own drum. Oddly, Pluto and Sagittarius carry a strange sense of guilt for the privilege they have in life. Perhaps because previous generations imposed certain ideals that led to this feeling. What they don't realize is they were blessed with balance and abundance because they will need it with the ambitions of where they're planning to go in life. Letting go of guilt and accepting their blessings graciously is something that this generation will learn as they work through the frequencies of past generations. Sexuality for this generation is interesting. A recent study in the U.S. revealed that 21% of Generation Z, Pluto and Sagittarius, identified as lesbian, gay, bisexual, or trans. The majority of that number, 57%, identifies as bisexual. Overall, 4% of the U.S. adults identify as bisexual compared to 1% who identify as lesbian, 1.5% as gay, 0.7% as transgender, and 0.3% as other. What does this tell you? The Pluto and Sagittarius likes to explore their options. In this way, they're dissecting the ideologies surrounding sexuality. When it comes to organization, this generation is a little scattered. It takes them some time to dissect ideas and concepts before they can come to their creative Sagittarius conclusions. Too many conflicting viewpoints confuse them, so they prefer to research alone in order to draw unbiased conclusions. They're hyper-aware of anyone telling them what to do or how to think. On the other hand, they do have difficulty making comparisons and avoiding the dark side of things. So the Libra generation will play a crucial role in helping them to find balance in their approach to understanding. The method by which this generation will impart change will happen very quickly and quietly, as they don't appreciate upheaval, negativity, or oppression in any form, which puts them at odds with Pluto and Scorpio's painful and severe approach. This generation is very sensitive to frequency and energetic flow. They're highly intuitive and very spiritual. Their approach will be non-confrontational. With the help of Libra generation, they will be working on a collective consciousness level that will bring balance and connection to the new future that is being created. The new future they're creating is based on simple concepts that will not necessarily cause radical changes to our society, but concepts that will alter the way in which we approach matters in the future, particularly with regard to ideologies. Unlike previous generations, the changes they'll make will be for the benefit of the collective. The future for Pluto and Sagittarius is not divided nor powered by autocratic belief systems. They know the future is with the collective human race. This generation is already opening their eyes. With Jupiter and Pluto, there will be no fooling them and no stopping them from bringing about the changes we've all been waiting to see. Many of them are working with creative ideas and concepts already. So if you're a part of this beautiful generation, make sure you understand the way things work. I know you'll love that, being all Sagittarius like you are. And get involved immediately with your community. Get involved on a local or state level. Start now, because we've all been waiting for you. If you're a member of one of the other generations, now is the time to get on board and take your place in helping the collective move towards a balanced future that we can all look forward to having for ourselves, our children, and our children's children. I was planning to release Pluto and Sagittarius and Pluto and Capricorn at the same time this week, but Saggy was a big story. I'll be releasing Pluto and Capricorn next Sunday at 7 p.m., so be sure to subscribe, hit the notifications to receive an alert when I release new videos. I appreciate all that share the message. Thank you for your support, and thank you for watching.